This groom forgot to buy a wedding ring for his wedding. Luckily, he can travel. This time he went straight to buy a ring. Then he walks out into the street and gets hit by a car. He got into an ambulance, then he jumped out of the ambulance. He thought, this is the end of the marriage. But then the priest asked them to say their vows to each other. Vic was unprepared. He couldn't say a word. He had to leave the room embarrassed once again. Then he went to a stranger's wedding to learn. And he had all kinds of books to read. He finally came up with his vows. He thought he could marry Anna. A flock of pigeons entered the church and accidentally knocked over the candles. The whole place burst into flames. All the guests ran out of the church. Vic was the only one who climbed up to the roof in anger. He clung to the bell in anger. But after a lot of shaking, the rope snapped. He fell off with the bell in his arms. The guests and the bride were terrified. And so Vic traveled back to the elevator. On his wedding day, the man was accidentally caught in a time loop. This time, the man calmed down. He thought someone was trying to stop him from getting married. When he came to Anna's window to peek at her, he overheard his rival's plan, a rival's plan to take over Red's company. The rival must have locked him in the elevator. When Vic got back to the hotel, Vic came back to the hotel wondering where to look for clues. He saw a woman in the bed. But Vera said there was nothing going on between them. That was a relief for Vic. Then he ran to the surveillance room and found out he was dragged into the elevator by a woman last night. And his clothes fell off when he was dragged. And this woman was their maid of honor. After learning the truth, after returning to the elevator this time, he ran as fast as he could. He sprinted to the door to win the marathon. Then he went to the police and the bikers. He begged them to take him to the church, and on the way, he asked Vera to take his clothes to the church as well. Everything seemed to be going very well. The wedding was on its last leg, when Red suddenly came out against it. But Vic found out about his rival's plan. When he found out the truth, Red was furious. He decided to go back to the office to deal with the problem. The man immediately went after him and advised him not to miss his daughter's wedding. He advised him not to miss his daughter's wedding for the sake of his career. Ryder was very touched by this. Eventually, the wedding went ahead. Vic confessed his love for Anna. He took out her mother's ring. But then the maid of honor stepped in. She said that Vic slept with someone else last night. Everyone was shocked. Only Vic was calm. He asked the woman from last night to bring out the recording. And everyone realized that the maid of honor had framed Vic. The police who brought Vic to the church took one look. They arrested her. The wedding went off without a hitch. And then the church bells rang again. Vic's cycle was over. And he'd realized in his travels, marriage takes a lot of time and effort to maintain it. So when you meet someone, you have to cherish them.